just wanted to briefly move on to our next guest, and I'd like him to share. He's going to share a little bit of his story and hope with what he's been through, and I'll let him share a little bit more about what he just went through the last week or couple weeks or a couple months or these past few years, I guess, looking back on that, and share a little bit more with you about that. And this is my good friend, my brother, Robert J. Moore, and he's just an incredible individual doing so many amazing things in this world. He's not only an amazing individual, he's somebody who shows up consistently, who is he's the founder and CEO of Magnetic Entrepreneur Incorporated here in Toronto in Canada. He's owns a radio station. He's a 5-time best-selling author. The list goes on and on and on. He's spoken on stages with Bob Proctor, some of the most prolific leaders in the world. Just an overall incredible individual and a very dear friend to me as well. So I'd like to bring up Robert J. Moore here to the stage, and welcome, Robert. It's great to see you, my brother, my friend.
How are you? I'm glad to see you're making this happen.
Yeah, I know we had a little bit of third time's a charm, right? That's what I always say.
You gotta, hey, it's your first round, so you gotta give you credit.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We're here now, and that's at the end of the day, that's all that matters. We're taking action. We're moving forward. We're not letting anything stop us, right? Nothing will stop this.
I know that feeling. So I'll give you a 5 minutes of what I was like in the past. Right, I was a drug addict, alcoholic. Lost 16 years in and out of jail. I didn't have any hope. I didn't know what hope was. I thought to myself, well, being somebody out there to be recognized, I had to have this big dream. You don't have to have a big dream. You just have to have a vision. That vision will lead you into that hope. Because what happened was I scared everybody away with my anger and everything else because I was a drug addict, alcoholic, and I was the kind of person that did not allow people near me. So what I had to do was I had to quit drinking and try and believe in myself. So I had an epiphany one day when I was drinking. I was 31 years old. Now, keep in mind, I have the mentality of in and out of jail 16 years, living on the street 7 years, drinking and drugging for 20 years, I guess. And I'm thinking to myself, well, how do I get over this? So I can't live in society without having a shot of booze or whatever it may be, or some drugs. I've had people die in front of me. I've seen a lot of different death. I've had my wife die in my hands when I was 20 years old, giving birth to my second child. My second child's married now. He's got a child on the way. I'm going to be a grandfather. And a weird feeling that is, and next thing you know, I'm remarried now. I'm married now, happily married with a wife and several children. But I had to utilize some skills. I had to put myself through training again. I had to figure out where I wanted to be. So when I'm looking at hope, I'm looking at the fact of I wanted to go and be a part of something. I don't know what I wanted to be back then. I just wanted to get educated because I knew I had to get my education. So I'm in a school of people 15 years junior to my age. When they're 15 years junior to my age, it's like they're talking about the parties and I'm 3 months clean sober. It's like, that's all I could think of. I was like, wow, man, I'd like to show these guys how to party. They don't know what they're talking about. So then I said to myself, I just prayed inside and I said, help me through this. I don't need this feeling of, what I want more. That's the thing. I mean, if you look at yourself in the mirror and say, you're well and worthy daily, you're going to believe in that. If you sit in a barber's chair, what are you going to get? You're going to get a haircut eventually. So you're going to believe what you verb out there, right? So what your thoughts are. So I went to school and got my social service worker diploma, my addictions degree, my BA in psychology, my master's in counseling psychology, my harm reduction, mental health crisis, 2 honorary doctorate degrees. As you see back there, I got the Guinness World Record. I've been featured in Forbes magazine today. I brought my business from minus 150,000 to 3 mil. And I didn't do that because I didn't believe in something. I did that because I believed in something. It was one person, I'm going to tell you right now, one person back then that allowed me to feel hope. Because she said to me something, I'm willing to be there for you. And nobody else was. That gave me an ounce of hope. That ounce of hope turned into another bucket of hope, and more and more and more. And today, people start believe they don't believe me in my past. They say, "Oh, come on, we know you all over the internet. You've been on stages. You've been, I coached Les Brown's daughter, for crying out loud." You know what I mean? And a few other famous people. I just introduced you to Les Brown's daughter to do your forward, for her dad to do the forward. So simply put, I mean, to have the structure I have today inside of me, the balance, the fracture, and everything else that I'm doing in my life means a lot. But I don't utilize doctor in front of my name. I don't put anything behind my name. Is because why? The reason why I do that is because I want people to believe in me. Back then it was fake fronts, fake fronts, fake fronts, cry wolf. I don't like that. I'd rather be me. So I put myself out there, and I'm a part of Ingram now. I got my publishing company. I have 3 sister companies I'm training right now. Nadine happens to be one of them. I'm training her and her company to make sure it gets up there. And there's a few others out there. One happens to be a 3.5-year-old boy. Believe it or not, my son. I'm running the business for him under his name, right? He's the publisher of it all, and his name's going on his writing it. So when he gets older, he won't have to worry about a job. He won't have to worry about money. He won't have to worry about too much. So that's, 15 years down the road. You got to protect them, right? You got to protect them. My older daughter's she already gets money out of me now. So you don't have to worry too much about that. So I don't know if you guys know what's going on with the world right now. The convoys, the truckers, and the freedom. I'm wearing a very special shirt that's very dear to me right now, this sweater. Okay, on it says 10-7 out of service. On the back, it says Convoy, Freedom Convoy 2022. I wasn't the leader or anything of it. I was participating, down there. I was enjoying myself, watching how things go in Ottawa, Ontario, in Canada. I tell you, it felt dark going in that town. It really felt dark going in that town. It was really scary to be in that town. I don't know why. It just felt dark. There's a lot of stuff going on with the government, a lot of things that we're not all liking, and it's probably why it felt dark. And not only that, when you look at their logo, it doesn't look right to me. Let's just say, look at their logo and you'll see there's 666 on it. That's their logo that starts off with. So, but when I got around the people downtown, the millions of people down there, that was, on Saturday nights, you get to see a different person. You get to feel a different person. You get to know a different person, because it's like going to church and you're the only one there. Is that really believable? When you have people in the church that are supporting each other, united, you feel something more, because you're feeling the energy from the other people. So when you got 6 million people at an event that's freedom, trying to get your freedom back from the government, you're going to feel that. So I was there for a week and a half, but then I wasn't allowed to get an Airbnb anymore. They were cutting me off, blocking me up. Couldn't go if I went to a hotel, it was $100 a night at first. All of a sudden, when they know your name, it's now $350 a night, plus tax. And it was like, wow, really? Why so much? Well, you're related to the convoy. Because they didn't like the fact that, here's the thing, there's so many different lies about it. I want to tell you that be careful what news you watch. Be careful who you watch and what you know about this, because of the fact of a lot of the news are paid by the government. A lot of things happen down there. When the act came out, emergency act, the first round, the 7 days, there was a lot of different things going on. And a lot of things that are going to get people in trouble. I'm being very cautious what I say, because I'd rather be loose about it, but I can't. You know what I mean? Because I don't want things coming back on me. And this is definitely something that can come back on you. I got the leaders of the convoy were arrested. One got $100,000 bail. And another one just today, this morning, she was refused bail. Ever since the act come out for the 30-day one, they refused her bail. Now I'm waiting to see if 2 other people that are still left in are able to get out. And I'm wondering if they're there to make an example of things now. I mean, if they're actually going to be making an example of them for what not to do. But here's one thing I want the world to know. It's not over. It's not over at all. You want to know why? I got wind, and I talked to all the people and that. There's 10,000 trucks. 10,000 trucks still worldwide going at her right now. And it's also, this whole thing has gone worldwide. The whole thing. You got the United States. You got about 50 different places that I know have got thousands and thousands and thousands of trucks all fighting for freedom. And if you guys know, and maybe in your town, maybe in your city, the mandates are coming down. The mandates are coming down. And it's absolutely amazing to see. You know, they're sitting there, everybody's thinking that, oh, they got wiped out in Ottawa. That was just the beginning. They had to happen. That had to happen to show some true colors of the government. All right. That doesn't mean we lost. That means we opened the can of beans, all worldwide, so people could see what's going on, so they know which way to take this to the next level. And they're taking it to the next level. It is very interesting to watch it unfold. But at the same time, it's scary because the government doesn't have to answer anybody no more. With this acting, he just answers to himself and does whatever he wants. And I mean whatever he wants. I seen people, two planes come in from the UN. The army here refused to come in, but all of a sudden there was people there, and they were fighters, and the UN was there too. So, and they don't speak English. They just, they just push you around, beat you up, and smash out the windows, and it's pretty scary. But how bad does he want his power as opposed to how bad do I want my freedom? That's what everybody's looking at. We're tired of the mandates. We're tired of the things going on. We're tired of being a troll. I mean, do you mind if I ask you permission to have my breakfast in my own home? Do you mind? They're saying you can't even get your license or insurance or anything unless you have a Q, one of those Q things, codes. That's what we were fighting for. And we weren't doing it to be rude. We were very, very calm, collective, peaceful, but they made us out in the world like we were the ones starting all the stuff. We were blockading things. We didn't block anything. Every road that we were on had one open spot. There were only one ways anyways. And the people that lived there said it was the cleanest and the crime was down 90%, but they switched everything around. They switched everything around to make them look good, to make them look, oh, well, hey, we got to get rid of this. We can't have this. It's messing up our stuff that we're trying to do. That's very scary. It's very scary when you're doing something like that because you don't know the hidden agenda on this. And if we're messing up something that they're trying to put together, the new reset, well, it's hard to maintain that, right? But anyways, I am doing a book on it. I've done 121 books already, 5-time international best-selling author, and I just love what I do, and the freedom is there. I'm going for it. You even mentioned you got some stuff that was dropped down, the mandates at your area.
Yeah, just on midnight on February 13th, there was the vaccine mandate they just dropped. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? These stories are phenomenal. And I think the end of February, March 1st, they have the mask mandate that they're finally, thank God, getting rid of.
Well, I mean, it's funny because all the mandates are going down except for like the immediate area where I'm at, where things were happening. Like that was a big fight, and it's still not over. It's just like beginning kind of thing. But at the same time, you see all the mandates going down. You see all these MPs coming across. And look, we don't need this no more. It's not about it. Honestly, it was never about the jab in the first place. I don't care if you're jabbed or not jabbed. It was never about that to begin with. People call it a pandemic. And you know what? I know some inside stuff that I'm going to call it a pandemic. It was planned, and we're upsetting their plans, so they're not liking it. you know.
Exactly. Your story is phenomenal, and like the things you went through. And I know you and I were talking the whole time you're down in Ottawa, and you'd come with your video, and it was just one of those moments as priceless to be able to witness what was happening there, and it is history that we're living in right now, and this is why it's more important now than ever to have hope. No matter where you're at in your journey, and know there is hope for a better today and a better tomorrow for both of it, right? Not just tomorrow. It's like we have that choice to choose hope now, right? Hope now. And I just have a question, Robert. Like, you've been through so much, and I know your story is one of the most heartfelt stories I think I've heard out there of what you've been through and struggles you've overcome. What would you like to say to, I think, people that are struggling right now, or maybe a couple things that you've learned in your journey on how to help people that are, they kept getting knocked down and knocked down and knocked down, and then they say, what's the point in even hoping anymore, because I'm just going to get knocked down again. What would you say to those people?
What? Honestly, I mean, like, I've lost three brothers. Three brothers of mine have died. Literally, they've died. One in 2001, one 2015, one 2020, and it was drugs and alcohol related. And my dad dying, my mom dying, my stepmom, my biological mom's alive, but you're going to have things happen in your life. There are obstacles in your life. We're going to get depressed. We're going to get those feelings. They're feelings. You got to overcome those feelings. Like Tony Robbins says, you have 5,000 negative feelings come through your mind per day. How you filter them is up to you. I worked in the mental health field for a long time. I worked as a psychotherapist for a long time. One of my favorite lines I tell people is, don't let, a simple situation, a thought process, a temporary situation become a permanent. So don't use a permanent situation for a temporary situation. Otherwise, what I'm saying is, don't commit suicide for something that's temporary, because what you're doing is you're making something permanent out of something temporary. And I tell that to a lot of people because I've seen people grieve. I've helped over 200,000 people now. You know what I mean? And that's just not grieving. That's something I've helped yourself out with your father there when you were going through some hard times and you just couldn't figure out how to let it go. And I just gave you some simple advice, and I told you, just try it out, see how it feels, and you come back with some really good results on that. Sometimes it's just that we need that extra guidance. Sometimes we just need that, hey, that friend, someone to have that shoulder, someone to know they have their backs, right? And you know what? I got to say, I love the world right now. And I love Canada too. United was one, man. I've seen this. I've seen people, all races, all different colors. Some couldn't speak English. Some, I can't speak their language, but we're united. And you know what? We're all hugs. We all hugged down there. There was no mask. Nobody wore a mask. Do you see me sick right now? I'm sorry. I was down there for more than 14 days. And there was no mask. And I was around almost 6 million people. I'm sorry to say, but I mean, that might tell you something.
Exactly, right? Exactly. It's like you see that and you witness things firsthand, the truth of what's actually going on, right? And this is part of this movement too, is how can we get truth out into the world to be told, with all the corruption and the uncertainty and the deception of the illusions of what the media is portraying right now. And like you said, you lived it. You were down there, right? So you saw that firsthand.
I was firsthand, and that's the difference. I seen the media come there. All right, the different medias come down there, and they're facing the other way at the police officers and talking about them. Why don't you turn the camera the other way, where you see the thousands and thousands and thousands of people dancing around, having fun, hugging, enjoying themselves. You know what I mean? But you wouldn't do that because they're paid media. Propaganda, man. Propaganda, paid media. I mean, I've seen it firsthand. I've never been into politics in my life, ever. I went down here I'm telling you, man, I got more in my earful to learn. I learned so much, and it was not that I was willing or wanting to learn. I just got in with some certain people that were, happened to be really involved in it, and I got to learn a lot. You know what I mean? But I mean, I'm not trying to tell people to go get a job or not get a job or fight against the government. I'm just saying we have to make our own free choice. I mean, that's all we care about. I don't want to be sit there and told I have to do this or I'm not having a license. I can't go across the border because I don't have a Q card and my vaccines or whatever it may be. I don't think that's very fair. You know what I mean? I wanted to go back to where it was 2019, where it all began, where everything felt so comfortable, so free. If I wanted to go to Florida for a month, I can. If I want to go for 6 months, I can. You know what I mean? Like there's a difference there. And I don't want to be stuck in just Canada. Even flying, believe it or not, flying from Ontario to Canada, like that part of outside of it, like where you are in that, they won't let you do that either. You have to have your vaccines. That's one of the reasons why one of the leaders of the convoy is still in jail. They said, well, how about we just rent a car? You have to have a vaccine to rent a car. Okay. It doesn't make a lot of sense. A lot of excuses are coming out. And if you listen to the government, his solution to everything, we just need to make sure you're vaccinated. Well, guess what? There's two people. I'm just going to say this briefly. Two people that said this. One was Doug Ford. Doug Ford said, simply put, you can have 10 jabs, but you'll still get COVID. And there's proof because the government just happened to have third shot, his jabs, and he had COVID. All of a sudden, when the convoy was there. But I mean, you can make your own decision on that one.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's one of those things. Absolutely.
I can't say nay or yay about it, but I mean, I can actually talk a good communication if we're not being taped or if we're, if there's a lot more to it going on that I can at a campfire, watch out, here I come. You know what I mean? But I mean, they have you other way. I mean, they can do the internet stuff, and I mean, I know they're watching me. I know that for a fact. They had the things flying in the air, the drones and that, and they were pretty much on us. And there was police outside my door yesterday. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting arrested. I don't know. They said everybody was there is being repercussions of it.
Yeah, exactly. So we just keep hoping that the best is coming soon and the light is closer than what we think it is, right?
Let's just say what we did was we disturbed a lot of things.
Yeah.
What that movement there gave a lot of people hope. A lot of people hope.
Yeah.
They got 60,000 trucks right now in the U.S. going to D.C. 60,000 trucks. They had a crap load of trucks go by where you are, right? Up in your area, they had a lot go through.
Oh, there's like thousands, right? That video. Yeah, exactly.
There was one of the biggest ones I've seen. I think it was over 100 kilometers long. That convoy was over 100 kilometers long straight. Like that's a long convoy.
Yeah,
that's a lot of trucks. But just picture yourself being so united. You're going underneath a bridge. People are waving flags, right? And you got a couple flags on your car, and you're just honking your horn. Feel the feeling of it. Like I got goosebumps just thinking of this now. And remembering how it was. I'm on the highway, even today. Today I had groceries come to my house. It was one of the guys I met from the convoy, and I'm hours away from that place. I'm hours away, and his uncle just happens to be in town, but they happen to run the convoy up there for the dinner and that to help out with the food. And he's like, he's from Alberta. What coincidence is that? I don't believe in coincidence. I just think it's God keeping anonymous.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But when you're looking at people, okay, guys, if you're feeling depressed, find something you like doing. If you're becoming bored, bored's an emotion. I'm going to tell you right now, I know a lot about emotion. I was a specialist in all this stuff. And when you get bored, we tend to either eat, we get depressed, or we just want to sit there and flick the TV. You don't want to watch anything particular. You just want to flip, 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 until you see something you like. It's like the
Mhm.
channel music. You do the same thing in your car. Oh, flip, flip, flip. Oh, that's a good song. Then you're moving on to another one. Just leave it one thing. You know, you get depressed. There's always people to lean on. There's always people to talk to. Not everybody's going to think you're nuts, right? Make sure you take care of number one, because you're not going to be able to take care of someone else. Otherwise, it's like the old saying: if you're on a plane and the mask come down, do you put that on your child first, or do you put it on you first? I need to put it on me, because without me, I won't have that child to look after. Right. So I got to make sure I take care of number one first. It sounds kind of cruel, because in my mind, I would rather take care of my child first. Right. And I would suffer for that. But then if I'm not healthy enough, how am I going to do something to help that child out?
Exactly. Yeah. And I always say that we have pillars of hope in the global movement, and mental health and health is always number one, right? Because like without our health, without our sound mind, we can do nothing. Like nothing will happen, no matter how hard we try, right? So I love that you just brought that up and mentioned that. It's so powerful, Robert. So powerful. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for all you do in the world, and thank you for being such an amazing friend and brother, and just for so many people, not just me, but so many people in the world who look up to you as a role model. You're an inspiration to us all, and I thank you so much for taking the time out today
It's an honor. It's an honor
to be here today. So thank you very much.
All right, no worries. Cheers, and everybody. You know what? If you haven't been told today, you're loved. All right, I love you. I think the world of you. No matter what you're doing, the right or wrong thing, I'm not the judgmental person. God is. Remember that. You got to face him, not me. But if you need to listen to someone, you need someone to hear, you need someone to think of, go look in the mirror, man, and say you're well and worthy. Because you know what? The more you tell yourself you're well and worthy, the more you're going to feel better about yourself. And remember, those obstacles that you're going through, you have to get through to get to the other side, to learn those different emotions. All right. I'm going to tell you right now, learn those emotions, because when you go through it again, it makes it easier to go through, and it's sweeter on the other side.
Amen. 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 Thank you so much,
Right.
Robert. God
No
bless.
worries.
Have a great day. We'll be in touch soon. Thank you so much again for everything.
All right. Best of luck for today.
Thank you so much. Take
Cheers.
care. All
Cheers.
right. Cheers. All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for your patience today. Thank you for joining us for the launch of the Global Movement of Hope, the United Hope Challenge, and Stories of Hope. We're so glad you're here today, and it's just an absolute honor to be able to bring this forth to the world and share a little bit more about what we're doing, why we're doing it, and we have an amazing, amazing day planned. We have special guest speakers who will be coming, sharing their stories, a bunch of other things we have planned, and we're just very excited to get started here. I'm going to start off and just share briefly how we got started, how the Global Movement of Hope came about, and what I guess, like, as far as, you know, we've all been through such, you know, difficult times these past few years with the pandemic. And now is, you know, everybody needs hope. So basically, you know, going back, everybody needs hope, no matter who you are, no matter where you're from, no matter what background you have, how old you are, all of these things, we all need hope. And I had a vision. So this vision came about 6 months ago, in my meditation and prayer practice in the morning, and heard the names, the Global Movement of Hope. And first of all, my name, Nadine, means hope. And there was some resonance I felt with the name itself. I wasn't quite sure why I was hearing the name at the time. But as we all, sometimes things happen to us and we don't necessarily at the time know why they're happening. This was one of those occurrences for me. I went and got the domain and just kind of left